This is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY 1 month overview reading for the month of February 2025. It's currently February 1st, 2025. If you've been following the channel, then you know we're playing catch up here. Pretty much caught up. March readings are in action, but it took us a while to get this February video up and running just because of the car accident and all that stuff. And I'll also mention this is one of the most difficult monthly readings that I've seen since I started doing this. So as far as the highs and the lows, uh, there's like some serious alternates. It's like one of those readings where if the highs aren't on the days that I say, the alternate is going to be that the lows are on those days. So it makes for some really, really tricky trading. So you want to be careful of that. However, if you're new to the channel, what we're going to cover is the overall theme and chart behavior for SPY throughout the month of February. We're going to give you some of the chart behavior surrounding the highest high for the month, chart behavior surrounding the lowest low for the month. We're going to talk about the best trades that we see, and then we'll give you the day-by-day chart behavior. It's important to note that we're predicting the sequence of chart events. The timing is usually on point to the day, but you will find cases where we're plus or minus a day or even 2 days here or there wiggle room. In those cases, the sequence of chart events remains accurate. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're new to the channel, it's the sequence of chart events that you want to pay closest attention to. But really, I mean, you can like just make all that guesswork obsolete by subscribing to one of our subscriptions on the website tarotfortraders.com, because we've got live Discord trade alerts, live updated trading view charts. I'll show you guys how to get that at the end of the video. And now another thing to note before we get into this, everything that I talk about when I say support, resistance, a big move higher or lower, all that stuff is going to be on the scale of a multi-day chart, like looking at like 1 month of time. So the overall theme and behavior for February, we've got the Princess of Swords, which indicates there's an important resistance on a probably on a 1 year chart scale that's highlighted. Likely we decline from it and then return to it at least once in the month of February. Wow, it's so tricky, guys. And so usually that makes for some good trading, but because the highs and the lows, like the alternates are like right on top of each other, it's not the safest. You want to be very, very careful here. Just kind of like sit back and watch and see what happens in like the first 2 weeks. And then that should inform us much better as to the next 2 weeks, because we'll know which of the alternates we're really looking at. And so there's also a pop and a drop taking place. I'm actually picking up on Congress. There's something to do with Congress going on there that might impact it, but we've got at least one pop and drop in the midst of that. So a lot of back and forth behavior. The chart behavior around the month's highest high, we should see an existing resistance level that we failed to break through and then decline through key support out of that high. Behavior around the lowest low. We've got a cross-reading congruency with the 1 year reading. We see a lowest low correlation on the 1 year for 2025 taking place in February. And the lowest low card even is the Chariot card. So when we go over here, we've got the Chariot card in the low significator position. I mean, that speaks very, very strongly to me. My greatest sense, I have a good sense of which one of these alternates is going to be, and we'll get into that as we progress through the reading. Behavior around, and so we have a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a notable decline in or around the low for the month. All right, so here we're getting into the day-by-day chart behavior here. Apologize for the lack of editing, guys. We have just too much information to cover on a monthly basis to edit it ourselves. We're just not there yet, so apologize for that. But most likely we have like a highest high, like there's a higher price level at the end of January in relation to what goes on here in early February. We've got multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on the 3rd, a failed attempt to break through key resistance on the 4th, followed by a decline through key support. But that failed attempt at resistance on the 4th, it'll be disappointing because some chart behavior leading up to it will lead us to believe that we're going to break through that resistance. And so there's a sharp drop on the cusp of the 3rd, 4th. It might even continue into midway through the 3rd. Then a rally there out of that trough, increasing with the momentum moving forward into the 5th. And then that rally turns over at key resistance. There's a fake out of some kind on the 6th, an intentional fake out or shakeout, something that it's intended to make us do the wrong thing. So be very careful there. Follow along with the Discord. Likely a sharp drop off of that resistance into an important trough on the cusp, or maybe in the beginning of the day on the 7th. We should do sideways rotation there on the 7th. A big move higher and then more sideways rotation. There's possibility of a highest high somewhere around the 5th, 6th. It's a small possibility, not a big possibility. More likely, we've got a lowest low somewhere in here between the 4th and the 6th. Maybe the end of the beginning of the day on the 7th, or even the 10th. But also on the 10th, we've got a possibility of a highest high there as well. Not the strongest possibility either. The lows are much more probable to take place here. It could be that there's like a huge amount of price swinging. That's a possibility as well. So an important peak early in the day on the 10th. We decline from that with a U-shaped dip forming that important trough. And then we come back and try to establish support on the 11th. Support to the upside on the 11th. That support on the 11th turns into 3 crisscrosses back and forth through the same price level on the 12th. That's an important price level on a multi-day scale. The 3rd cross to the upside, usually confirming a bullish trend, but in this case, I'm being advised not to chase that rally at the end of the day on the 12th. We should do more sideways rotation on the 13th, probably revisiting a support level that we recently met as an opportunity in the not too distant past. And then we have a rally on the We've got a rally into key resistance on the 14th, followed by a decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Then we've got the 17th off. A lot of price change on the 18th. Now, the Ace of Discs often is like a lowest low. My sense is that there's a possibility of a lowest low there, but it's, again, not the strongest. The strongest possibilities in that first week and like that Monday, the 10th. So that first week, like midweek or Monday the 10th. But but the alternate would be that it's there because there's definitely a trough there. There's also a peak. I think there's probably 2 troughs with a peak in between. So we're likely open lower on the 18th, rally really notably from a key resistance level on a multi-day scale into an important peak before midday, and then we likely decline back to a trough, not quite as low as the earlier low, but a trough on the cusp of the 18th, 19th. Huge move to the upside out of that trough on the into the 19th, reaching for distant resistance, and then a significant drop overnight from the 19th into the 20th, revisiting a support level we recently met as a past opportunity yet again. Yeah, and so there's opportunity there on the 20th. I'm going to get into the trades in just a minute, but there's some good opportunity there on the 20th. We end up moving to the upside pretty notably towards the cusp of the 20th, 21st, maybe the end of the day on the 20th, but really on the 21st, we've got a peak early in the day that forms from a rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, meaning another resistance, then pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. All right, on the 24th, this is where we most likely have our highest highs for the month, the 24th and the 25th. The 25th does also concern me because there's likely a prominent trough there on the 25th as well. And that would be an alternate location of a lowest low. So this is what I meant at the beginning of the video by the highs and the lows. Their alternate scenarios are like on top of each other. It makes for very, very tricky reading. Be very mindful of that. But we have a lot of volatility on the 24th, an important resistance level highlighted, and then a sharp drop into a trough towards the end of the day. An unexpected move to the upside back into likely a highest high there on the 25th out of a significant trough. And then we have a move higher, full retracement on the 28th. Another move higher, full retracement on the move higher, full retracement on the 26th. Sorry, guys. And then a move higher and full retracement on the 27th. On the 28th, we have a resistance level important again that will decline from and return to. There's a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. And there may be another lowest low over here, guys. I'm going to put a question mark on that one. And the other thing, it could be that there's like a lot of price swinging. We're seeing the highs and lows within, like together on top of each other. That's another possibility. Like we go back and forth between highs and lows because there is a lot of back and forth going on. But my sense, just to clear it up, lowest lows here in the first week, highest highs here at the beginning of the fourth week, and maybe back to lowest lows here. And we'll have to look at that when we get into the March reading. As far as the best trades, guys, okay, so what we're looking for, and guys, these trades are just like expectations of what we should see, but don't pull the trigger on these without any further guidance because sometimes we're plus or minus a day here or there. The best way to trade this information is with the Discord trade alerts, guys, the live updated trading view charts and all that. I do not advise trading. This is for entertainment purposes to prove to you guys that extrasensory perception can be used practically in the real world and that it exists. All right, if you're serious about trading SO Meta, you need to get on those subscriptions. Don't be one of those people I told you so. Come on. All right, so best trade. So we've got this rally increasing with momentum moving forward around the 5th, out of probably a lowest low at least thus far, and into key resistance somewhere around the 5th, 6th, key resistance on a multi-day scale. You could open up a short at that resistance. I'd probably wait until the 6th. If we're at resistance on the 6th, open up a short there, close the short the very next day in the morning on the 7th at a lowest low. If for some reason we haven't seen lowest lows here, then I would hold out to sell on the 10th. But we don't want to wait for that. Most likely you're going to want to get out here on the 7th. All right, the other one on the 18th, early in the day. There should be a notable decline from the 14th over the weekend into early in the day on the 18th. And then we should rally pretty notably into a prominent peak midday. Now, at that prominent peak, you could open up a short. You could close that short for a day trade, probably the end of the day, but more likely you're going to want to wait until the 20th. Probably first thing in the morning on the 20th to close that short. You might get scared out on the 19th if you're not careful. So this isn't one for people with low risk tolerance. But when we see sideways rotation near a peak there on the 8th, that's where you'd enter. What we should see is a fall to a trough, not as low as the early morning one, and then a big move out of that trough into the 19th, followed by a sharp drop overnight from the 19th into the 20th, and you in the morning would likely close out of that. We'll look at this in more detail when we look at the dailies. And then there, if we do have that sharp drop on the 20th, early in the morning or overnight, you could open up a long, close that long at the end of the day on the 20th. And whatever this resistance here, guys, around the 6th is established, most likely that'll be the resistance that we decline from and return to and decline from and return to. And if you're interested, let's see how we did for January. All right, so it looks like our lows were a little bit off, but our highest highs here at the end of the month were pretty solid. We had a high here on the 23rd. So pretty much nailed that high here on the 23rd. Had a sharp drop from the 24th over the weekend into a significant trough. That was really, really solid trading there, guys. I made bank on that day. I'm sure some of you guys did too. And then out of that trough there on the 29th or the 28th or the 29th, you could open up a long, close that long on the 30th, or excuse me, on the 31st. That would have been another solid trade. This was pretty on point, even though we were off on the lowest lows. Like there were still lows there, right? We had a significant low here. We were a couple days off on this low, but we saw one mid-month as well. And then we nailed the highs pretty much. So we're not going to get it 100% all the time. You can see we're off on this ellipse. We were off on this ellipse. We nailed all these guys. And these are examples of the chart drawings that you get on the live trading view charts. Those links to the charts you find on our Discord trade alert channels. So if you're interested in this information, guys, obviously this is super helpful if you're following with the Discord and you have all this guidance and this community of people that trade SO Meta. It makes for really solid trading techniques and strategies. I'll show you guys how to get that. And here's a sneak preview while I'm getting it of March. All right, so you want to go to our website, tarotfortraders.com. Hover over order now. Click on subscriptions. To get all the S&P 500 stuff early, and to get the Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view charts, you subscribe for early access. It's $60 a month, $600 for the year. Great way to support the channel. Great way to intro into trading SO Meta analysis, because you get to see like we do day trades of SPY, not every day, but at least once a week, and usually a lot more than that. We do swing trades of SPY, and then we do all sorts of other stuff in those other subscriptions, which you can check out and ask questions on the Discord. That's also where we put links to special offers. So much love and appreciation to everybody who does that. Really helping out the channel to move forward and grow. We really need an editor, guys. So if you guys sign up, you'll be the people that signed up, allowing for the channel to then go get a full-time editor, and then we can blast off and we can do a ton more tickers in crypto and cover a lot more ground, because we won't have to worry about the videos. Not to mention, you'll also be helping with automating the card laying process, or the markups of it, which takes so much time. So lots of stuff on the agenda to do, guys. Much love and appreciation to all our supporters. And as always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.